Greg's Channel 1. I am Greg and this is Channel 1. Now, welcome to Monster Thursdays. Now, this is where I'm going to be watching episodes of Monster and then reviewing them. I know I said in the last video it'd be Monster Wednesdays, however, Wednesdays are pretty busy for me and I realised, yeah, I've got no time. So it's going to be Monster Thursdays. If I can fit something in on Wednesday, I will, and if I can fit anything else during the week, I will. But at the moment, I'm going to keep Monster on Thursdays. So, let's start. Monster. Now, Monster is an anime adapted from manga, which is 76 episodes long. So you're going to have to listen to me talking about this for 76 weeks. Enjoy! So, the first episode of Monster is called Herr Dr. Tendler. It's based in Germany, where it is close to Berlin Wall kind of times, kind of early 80s, kind of mid to late 70s. I thought this was a pretty damn good episode, to be honest with you. I wasn't 100% sure on whether I liked the fact that it kind of just throws you in at the deep end. It just throws you straight into something that's happening. But the fact that it introduces you to the main character, the main protagonist, Dr. Kenzo Tenma, I was fine with it. And they made it feel very, very realistic. I get the feeling that this is one of those animes that would work amazingly in a live adaptation, because there's not much, there's no supernatural elements in any way. It feels real, it looks great, and feels very realistic as a show. I've got to say, love Tenma. It's good if you've got a kind of relatable and quite likable main protagonist, because obviously he's going to be the good guy for the entire show. He's very humble. He doesn't want to take all the credit. He's like, no, we were a team in that surgery. We were a team. It wasn't just me. We were a team, and if we weren't a team, we weren't going to save that person. And then the theme kicks in, and it is very sinister. It's called Grain. I'm not 100% sure who it's by, but damn, does it make you realise how sinister this show is going to get. I've read nearly all of the manga, so I know what's coming. I just wanted to see whether it is a good adaptation, or whether it is something that whether it's something I could accept as an adaptation. You get the great dark colours, the visuals are really nicely executed, it is really, really nice. And then after the theme and after a little bit, it cuts to Tenma in bed, just looking how you'd kind of expect a surgeon to look after being in surgery for 12 hours. And then in comes his girlfriend, Ava. Comes across as a little self-centered, and it's about me. But there is like a kind of funny, cute moment when she kisses Tenma whilst he's asleep, and he wakes up, because obviously, he's responded, and she said, I thought it was meant to be a princess like me waking up to a kiss from a prince, not the other way around. And as you'll hear throughout this review, I don't like Ava at all, or her father. But we'll get to that. We then get a bit of a scene with Dr. Hyneman on the news, the director of the hospital. So pretty much Kenzo Tenma's boss, and he's saying, he kind of talks like he was in there and he did the surgery himself. He's a bit of an egotist, and automatically I went, yep, they've got him perfectly, and they've got the perfect voice for him. That's another thing. Especially if you've read the manga, you always imagine a certain voice. Ava, she's kind of got the perfect voice. It annoys me that she calls herself a princess, but you know, I'm not quite sure they got the right voice for Tenma. I could get used to it, but I don't think they chose quite the right voice. They chose the guy who voices Gaara from Naruto in Shippuden. Now, I don't think it's a bad choice. I just think they could have had a better choice. I'm not quite sure who I would have as a better choice. I'll have a look, and I'll have a look at a couple of and a little listen, and I'll see if I can find someone who I think would be a better fit for next week's video. But yeah, we're here right now, so I may as well continue. So, yeah, Ava's annoying me already. She's a character that takes a long time to not be annoying and someone you want to just take a baseball bat to the head of. She really, she, especially for the start, she seems almost like a pointless character, a character that has no real purpose or importance. It'll change, but at the moment, she feels very much like a character who is pointless, who's got no reason for doing anything and shouldn't even be there in the first place, because she has no importance to the story at the moment. But they've obviously got to introduce her, because otherwise when she comes back later in part of the story, it's going to make no sense. Tenma's a puppet pretty much at this point. Literally, Dr. Hyneman goes, "Do this for me," and Tenma goes, "Okay. I am your puppet, sir. I am your servant." Which you can class as a good point or a bad point. I class it as a good point and a bad point. I class it as good because it shows that he's very selfless. He's willing to do what other people want rather than himself. But it's a bad thing because he's a puppet. He pretty much just does as he's told, which is a shame. They got Becca perfect. He's beautiful in the way that he's just he's talking about how him and Tenma have to go out for a drink, seeing as the director likes him, and the fact that he's dating the director's daughter. So Becca's just like, yeah, maybe we should go out for a drink. Celebrate the fact that you're a lucky son of a gun. Ooh, sorry about that, guys. Then, because we then get a moment, we had a moment earlier on, after the original surgery, where Tenma has just saved an opera singer, and he walks past a woman and her child. The woman's crying, and you can see that he feels a little bad, but he doesn't know why yet. But this, after the scene with Becca, you find out why. He's about to walk past, and the woman just says, "Are you Tenma?" He's like, "Yeah." It's, "Bring my husband back." He came in here long before the opera singer, yet the opera singer got operated on first, and her husband died. And it's nice, it triggers a conscience in Tenma, because it adds an extra dimension to him that, he can't handle the fact that, he could have saved the Turkish guy, and he probably could have got into the surgery for the opera singer and saved the opera singer. He kind of feels like he should have tried to save both rather than just the one, which is nice because it shows that he's three-dimensional. He's not, very, very boring and one-dimensional like you'll find some characters can be. Becca's one-dimensional. Becca's a fun one-dimensional. Ava is pretty one-dimensional until ages in, about halfway through the story, maybe even further down the line than that. A character we'll meet later. I'm not going to bring him up yet because we haven't met him yet. Hyneman, very one-dimensional. Yeah, it's very nice that we get an insight into his conscience, that he feels bad. Cuts to an amazing scene where Tenma's gone out for a date with Ava. He's trying to get his mind off what the Turkish lady had said to him. But Ava being so self-centered in the fact that she's talking about how her and her friend had fought over a dress, and that Ava had to win the dress because it's all about Ava. And then when Tenma brings up the fact that he feels guilty, and then he shows a bit of selfishness by saying, what does she want from me? There's nothing I can do. Which is good because it's showing that he can get frustrated and he can get angry, adding to his complexity as a character. And then, he kind of says to Ava, is it my fault? Do you think it's my fault? Which is probably the stupidest thing he could have asked her, because he should know by now she's self-centered as hell. To which she answers with, no, it's not, because people's lives aren't created equal. Ouch. That line gets me every single time. And it hurts every single time. And they got the right voice actress to deliver that line. I was very impressed. One of the big positives is the fact that Tenma does feel responsible for it, because it shapes him into what will happen later on in the episode and what kicks off the entire series. It's about it's all about choosing who he should save. And it really does dark and depressing well. I'm not gonna lie. This anime, they kind of took what Berserk 2016 tried to do, and kind of went, no, this is how you do it, and do it properly. It was very dark, depressing. You felt almost like it was a weight on your shoulders as well as Tenma's, which is great. And then Tenma gets a page telling him he's got to go in and save a young boy who's been shot in the head. He's still alive for now, but he's been shot in the head, and his family that he was looking after him are dead. His sister's still alive, but in kind of like a comatose state, but we'll get to that kind of stuff in another couple of episodes probably. It then cuts back to a scene where Hyneman's just like, where it makes you think that Dr. Hyneman's actually got a bit of complexity, and then he turns it over and pretty much just ignores all of Tenma's hard work and says, I want you to write my manuscript, I want you to do this and this and this for me, rather than the research that you've been working on, which is a dick move. And it just highlights how much of a lazy, rich bastard he is. God damn. Does Hyneman do anything apart from conference calls? You go, look at me, I did it. Even though I didn't, but I did it, because I am the director. And it's a good thing he doesn't last very long as a character, otherwise I'd be constantly in a bad mood. Then he comes out with a line when a group of construction workers are, rallying against the hospital, kind of saying, all lives should be equal, kind of thing. To which he responds to that when, to his daughter and Tenma, they seem to think we're a charity or something. Our priority is to progress as medical scholars before we save lives. and you're going, dick, move, mate. And you can see in Tenma that gets to him. Because, he wants to save lives. It's why he became a doctor in the first place. It's why he became a surgeon. But obviously he's got to take what Dr. Hyneman's saying to him, which just frustrates me. But they use the conflict between what Tenma was thinking very, very well. I was very impressed with how they did that. And this episode has been, in my opinion, it's one of the most well-written episodes of, and especially for an opening episode. I can't think of another anime that is this well written for a first episode. I've seen a lot of animes. The only one I think that comes to mind that possibly scratch the surface of how close to this one is the first episode of Durarara, but it's not quite as good. Yeah, they kind of keep highlighting the fact that Tenma seems to be a surgical genius. Because whenever there's a rough kind of surgery, they go, Tenma, there you go. It's, okay. To which he'll survey the situation. And he's deciding he's going to operate on this young boy. Becca being Becca, he pretty much is an alcoholic. That's kind of his whole gimmick, his whole story. And he comes in a little drunk, comes in with really, really poor timekeeping, which, if he worked with me, I'd want to smack him around the head. I've got pretty good timekeeping. But yeah, for a moment it does look like Tenma's going to continue being a puppet for Hyneman, because he's an absolute asshat. And that's when you realise how right Becca was earlier, when he says, it's all about the politics. It's all about the politics, You gotta be lucky, otherwise it all falls to shit. And you have that moment where Tenma's right near the end, where Tenma's conscience kicks in after being told to do what the director does, and just as he's halfway to where the operating room is, he's like, his conscience kicks in, and you've got the Turkish lady saying, bring my husband back, and he turns around and commits career suicide. And that's how they end the episode. Pretty much. You see a bit of him, saying to the kid, I'm going to save you. And then you've got the sister just saying, kill, kill, kill. But it sounds almost like she's taking a lot of energy to say that word. But I class those as just little mini extra moments. At the end, I feel like the defining point at the end of the episode is Tenma committing career suicide by going and trying to save the kid rather than the mayor, which is where Hyneman wants to send Tenma. He's like, nope, you've got to save the mayor, he's more important, which is a pain in the arse, because he's an asshat. Anyway, that was the first episode of Monster. It's got a long way to go, because obviously, as I said at the start of the review, 76 episodes. So I've got another 75 episodes to get through, and I've got a lot of stuff to get through. So I hope you're prepared for this 76 weeks of hearing me talk about Monster. I hope you've enjoyed. I'll just give you my rating. Very, very rare do I give this higher rating on a first episode, but a 4.9 out of 5. The only thing that really bugged me that wasn't a character problem was I'm not sure they chose the right voice for Tenma, but I could grow to love it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're going to stay with me for 76 weeks. Bum bum. So Monster Thursdays have begun. I hope you're ready. There may be a couple of other things that I throw in along the way, hopefully. If there's no other videos by Tuesday, then it'll be Orange Tuesdays. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. You can click subscribe. Subscribe is here or here. Leave your thoughts and opinions on the episode in the comment section below. Let me know. What do you think I was too positive? Do you think I was not positive enough? I should have given it a flat out 5 or a 4.99999 or whatever. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. Speak to you soon and bye.